Since I know half of y'all have ADHD, attention spans. Short answer, yes, he'll more than likely be playable. You can leave now. Long answer, it's complicated. Hey y'all, Mama Yai here, finally back with another Genshin Impact video. In today's video, we'll be going over everything we know so far about Il Capitano, first of the Fatui Harbingers. We'll be going over both sides of the argument on whether Capitano will be playable or not, so that you can come to your own conclusion at the end of the video. Before getting into anything, though, I'd like to make a disclaimer that the following information is based on leaks, data miners, previous Harbinger releases, and my own speculation. Nothing in this video is 100% confirmed, and Hoyo could change things up at any moment. I wanted to state this at the start since there's been an influx of misinformation, whether intentional or not, within the Genshin Leaks community. So consider this as a PSA to not take everything said on leak channels, including my own, at 100% face value. For the most accurate info, information regarding anything from the current beta for the next version is more than likely to be generally correct, aside from the stats and numbers on things which can be changed on a whim. Now with my yapping out of the way, let's get on with the video. If you're looking to top up for Capitano or any other character, check out ldshop.gg. They offer discounts on top-ups, and all you need is your UID and server, and after a few minutes, your purchase is safely delivered to your account. They're doing a special Christmas sale where you can get 19% off the 6400 Crystal Bundle by using the provided coupon. You even get your top-up bonus. And for those of you who do decide to get it, will become VIP members by spending over $80, which comes with a free welcome and extra coupons. New users get a $15 off coupon bundle, and if you use my link in the description, you'll get a bonus 5% off coupon. Let's start with the biggest question regarding our #1 Harbinger Capitano. Since Natlan's release, leakers and data miners have been touting that Capitano will not be playable, at least in the 5.x patches, since he doesn't have a player character ID in the files, as of from what I was able to gather from data mining communities. So let's go over the evidence we have so far on this claim first, and then the evidence for him becoming playable afterwards. As stated earlier, Capitano doesn't have a player character ID in the files as of version 5.2. In addition, his outfit has many layers and flowing attributes from his coat, cape, and long-ass hair. While this doesn't immediately disqualify him from becoming playable, a certain other Harbinger had similar fabric physics on her model, in addition to Scaramouche getting a design overhaul to cut back on these more physics-intensive elements. This is notable, as the more physics they cram into a character's design, the more computational resources it consumes, which can impact performance, especially on mobile devices. While on the topic of his design, many claim that he wouldn't be released in his current form, due to him not having a visible face while wearing his helmet. While it is confirmed that there is something behind the mask as shown in the 5.2 interlude Archon Quest, I doubt Hoyo would want to try and sell a character that resembles a rotting corpse or dehydrated Ganondaddy. Not only that, but he is a decent bit taller than all of the tall male character models, which is a major red flag. The biggest red flag, though, is the theory that he will die in Mavuika's place to fulfill the debt for using the Shade of Death's power in the 5.1 Archon Quest. Due to his conversation with the Lord of the Night and ties to the Shade of Death, Ronova.
The power that the Pyro Archon used to strike back at the Abyss came from the Ruler of Death. From what I know of her rules, she will demand death in return.
How do you know of this? I see. So, the Ruler of Death sent you on your long journey.
Natlan still has a final battle to fight, and I too have a final foe to face.
Finally, we have his abilities. While many have assumed he'd be a cryo character, we don't see a vision on him from any of the cutscenes or his overworld model. In addition to him being Conrian, his powers may possibly extend past the elemental abilities we have in-game. While there are some very solid points here, I personally don't think Hoyo would want to miss out on the money from making Capitano playable. Let's address the first point, that he doesn't have a player character ID as of yet. Back in the early days of the 4.x Fontaine updates, another Harbinger didn't have any player character ID in the files either, Arlecchino. This sparked a similar discussion that we have now, that she wouldn't be playable in Fontaine, or possibly not at all. Come update 4.6 though, and Arlecchino was officially released as a playable character. So not having a player character ID in the early phases of a new region doesn't necessarily mean that said character won't be playable. He's also got a sticker in the game which so far only playable characters get. As for the complexity of his design, there's two main ways Hoyo can go about it. Either optimize the game to the point where said outfit's features won't bog down performance, or do a redesign/simplification of the design. We've got Nouvelette with all of his majestic flowing hair and coat, Albedo's lab coat and Zhongli's ponytail both have physics, and Wanderer has his little drape tapestry things hanging from his hat. Speaking of Wanderer, he got a complete overhaul from his original design of Scaramouche. His outfit got simplified and appearance altered to fit his new abilities and personality. Who's to say the same can't happen to Capitano? Perhaps he does take Mavuika's place and gives up his life to Renova to pay the debt, but then he comes back in some shape or form. Maybe the sacred flame resurrects him, or Renova brings him back to comply with the curse of immortality. Or perhaps another shade gets involved who just so happens to oversee time itself. We are possibly getting a Mondstadt expansion pretty soon after all. This would also solve his missing player character ID since his playable design doesn't exist yet, as well as providing a way to ditch his Conrian abilities in favor of the more traditional elemental abilities, but with a pinch of Conrian magic as a gameplay gimmick, similar to Tartaglia's melee stance, Wanderer's flight, and Arlecchino's Bond of Life. Maybe they could give him a pseudo-Night Soul's blessing state in which he starts off strong but gets physically decayed the longer you use it. Kind of like a mix of Tartaglia's weapon stance and Wanderer's flight, but with a greater risk-reward dynamic via Capitano getting more and more frail the longer you use his skill. Though if they do decide to go this route. Hoyoverse. Please keep the mask. It looks so cool and has that air of mystery to it. Or they could just make him shorter, take his coat,
Yoink.
and give him a cryovision. Both would have the same effect of altering his appearance to better fit the playable cast. As stated earlier, the data miners have yet to uncover a player character ID similar to Arlecchino back in the 4.x patches. Well, since she released 6 versions after the debut of Fontaine, it is possible that Capitano could theoretically release in the very tail end of Natlan, leading into Snezhnaya. We know the Natlan patches will end with version 5.6, so it is technically possible that he could follow the precedent established by Arlecchino and drop towards the end of Natlan. Though I could also see him being released towards the beginning of the 6.x Snezhnaya patches. Maybe as a guide or escort to speak with the Tsaritsa and the other Harbingers. Capitano is quite noble and honorable, so it wouldn't be out of character for him to prolong his cooperation with the Traveler. After all, he did mention that he met with the Abyss sibling back in Conria. While it would be disappointing to have to wait a little longer for him to finally come home. At least it gives us more time to save up primos. Oh yeah, his weapon has been found in the files, by the way. It isn't the model used in the cinematics either. It has its own weapon ID and a name, Antumbra, which is a fitting name since Capitano hails from the Eclipse dynasty, and an Antumbra is the extension of the moon's shadow beyond the Umbra, which is responsible for causing annular solar eclipses, which are the cool solar eclipses that have that characteristic ring of fire look. Not to be confused with a total solar eclipse, in which the sun is completely blocked out by the moon. Astronomy spurging aside, the thing looks awesome, and I'll definitely be running it on Capitano for style points alone, even if there's a stronger option available. There's no stats or abilities for it yet, which makes sense since it would be released so far out into the future. While this seems like the nail in the coffin for the playable Capitano deniers, there are a few possible things that could prove otherwise. This model could have been a high-effort fake just to troll the Genshin Leaks community and to get stupid YouTubers like me to parade it around as if it's the confirmation for playable Capitano. Or, more interestingly, it could be a red herring of sorts intentionally placed by the devs to bamboozle us. Just like Respawn did with Forge in Apex Legends. They made a fake character with a full model and abilities for data miners to find. But once the Season 4 teaser dropped, they had a new playable character kill him on live TV and replace Forge as the Season 4 character. So there is a slim but non-zero chance that the Genshin devs are trolling us with this. While unlikely, it would be very entertaining to see this concept used in another game, with it being a fun and effective way of preventing leaks from spoiling the game. In summary, there's some decent evidence that points to Capitano not being playable in the Natlan patches or not at all. However, based on previous Harbinger releases, his official sticker, his weapon in the files, and story implications, there is a very real chance that we could be getting Il Capitano at the tail end of the Natlan patches, or at the beginning of the Snezhnaya patches. That's going to be it for today's video. What do you think Hoyo will do with Capitano? Do you think he'll drop towards the end of the Natlan patches, the beginning of the Snezhnaya patches, or even not at all? Will we get the Capitano we see now, or will he get a Wanderer-level redesign? Let me know in the comments. Be sure to subscribe and like the video to enter the Welkin giveaway I'm doing at 2,000 subscribers. I apologize for the horrid upload schedule. This video's been on the back burner for some time now, while I was going through the exam gauntlet with finals coming up next week. So any videos I do drop within this time period will likely be shorter ones. Though once finals are over, I'll have a few weeks off, which means I can, hopefully, get back to regular uploads again. Thank you so much for watching till the end, and for all of your incredible support. I couldn't have gotten this far without you. Thanks again for watching. And I bless everyone with good luck on their Zhongli and Nouvelette pulls.